In the heart of Texas, a shocking and chilling case unfolded that exposed a monstrous betrayal of trust in the medical field. Dr. Raynaldo Rivera Ortiz Jr., a 60-year-old anesthesiologist once respected in his field, now bears the grim title of medical terrorist. Convicted of injecting heart-stopping poisons into IV bags, Ortiz was sentenced to 190 years in prison, a punishment that reflected the gravity of his heinous actions. A deadly scheme unveiled. It all began in 2022 at Baylor Scott and White Surgicare in North Dallas. Patients undergoing routine medical procedures suddenly found themselves in life-or-death situations. Unexplained cardiac emergencies puzzled doctors, who were left scrambling to stabilize their patients. The common thread? The incidents occurred shortly after new IV bags were hung. The horror escalated when fellow anesthesiologist Dr. Melanie Kaspar died suddenly after using an IV bag to treat her own dehydration. Her autopsy revealed a lethal dose of bupivacaine, a nerve-blocking agent. As her devastated husband, Dr. John Kaspar, later testified, the image of his wife's lifeless eyes haunted him daily. She was his life, and the strongest woman he had ever known. Authorities launched an investigation that led to a shocking discovery. Surveillance footage showed Ortiz repeatedly tampering with IV bags, injecting them with dangerous drugs like epinephrine, bupivacaine, and lidocaine. After adulterating the bags, he would return them to a warming bin for unsuspecting colleagues to use. Patients, unaware of the danger lurking in their IVs, were left at the mercy of this invisible weapon. Ortiz's motive remained murky, but his actions painted a chilling portrait of deliberate and calculated harm. Over 5 days in August 2022, 4 patients experienced cardiac emergencies during low-risk cosmetic procedures, requiring emergency hospitalization. In court, it became clear that Ortiz's actions were not random, but methodical, targeting both patients and colleagues. In April 2023, after an 8-day trial, Ortiz was found guilty on 10 counts, including tampering with consumer products and intentional drug adulteration. Chief U.S. District Judge David Godbey, who presided over the trial, compared Ortiz's actions to those of a gunman indiscriminately firing into a crowd. He did it, Judge Godbey declared, holding Ortiz fully accountable for the chaos and pain he caused. Ortiz waived his right to appear in court for his sentencing, a move that angered many victims and their families. Still, their voices resonated in the courtroom. The son of one victim lamented that his 10-year-old son no longer trusted doctors, saying, "A doctor tried to kill Pops." Another victim described waking up after the cardiac event, feeling all chewed up, and forever changed. For the widower of Dr. Kaspar, the sentencing brought a measure of closure. "He killed my wife," John Kaspar said bluntly. "It wasn't through malice, it was through pure calculation." He described the sentencing as validation, an acknowledgement of the suffering Ortiz inflicted on his family and others. The trial also brought Ortiz's checkered history into the spotlight. Disciplinary actions by the Texas Medical Board, financial troubles with the IRS, and prior convictions for assault and animal cruelty painted a picture of a man whose troubling behavior spanned decades. Neighbors like Roxanne Bogdan described him as evil on so many levels, expressing regret that earlier warnings were not enough to stop him before he escalated to such horrific crimes. Bogdan, who testified against Ortiz in a past domestic abuse case, recalled his vengeful streak. In one incident, Ortiz allegedly harmed her dog in retaliation. Though her pet survived, thanks to a neighbor who was a veterinarian, Bogdan expressed deep sorrow for the lives lost and forever altered by Ortiz's actions. For the victims and their families, the sentencing provided some solace but could never undo the damage. Dr. Kaspar's brother, Dr. Craig Sessions, called the verdict reasonable, noting that while charging Ortiz with murder would be challenging, the outcome ensured he would never harm anyone again. Victims' families echoed this sentiment. "Today was justice," said Bogdan. "He's going away forever, and that's where he belongs." The court's decision ensured Ortiz would spend the rest of his life behind bars, a fate befitting a man who turned tools of healing into weapons of destruction. As for Dr. Kaspar's husband, the day marked an end to a harrowing chapter. "I'll probably never spend another minute thinking about the defendant," he said, choosing instead to focus on memories of his beloved wife.